Welcome everyone to episode 9 of the platform. And this one is super special to me because my guest today is my brother from college, Anthony Jones, Lindenwood's recruiting coordinator. But more importantly, I think in his bio it actually says I was Drew's big brother at JSU. So I'm not real sure about that. But I love this guy, and I'm so thankful he took some time out. So, Anthony, how you doing, brother?
Doing good, man. Doing good. Good to see you, brother, man. You look good.
Well, I
You're
mean,
still
listen.
looking young, my guy.
Well, we were talking about that before we went on the air that we're getting old. Oh,
We are. We are.
I was just thinking, like, I used to call Aunt, and we'd go hang out in Jacksonville, and it didn't really matter what time it was, and now to do this, like, I had to go get the girls' pajamas on and get them in bed
Yep.
before I could even call Aunt. So it's just very, very full circle moment.
No doubt.
No
No
doubt,
doubt.
but man, I'm so thankful, to as busy as you are, coaching football, take some time out to share about Jesus. And that's actually, just telling everybody at home, that's how me and Aunt met, was through FCA at JSU. And we kind of forged that friendship. And I got to tell this story. I don't know if you remember this one. Um, it was early in the morning after class one day. I went by Jack's and picked up a biscuit. I said, "I'm gonna go take my brother a biscuit." And you had a friend over at your apartment, and I knocked on that door and I said, "Hey, is Aunt here?" And she just looked at me like I was the craziest person in the world. And she said, "No, he's not back yet." I said, "Well, just tell him his brother brought him a biscuit." And I left the biscuit. And I just remember you calling me saying, and I forgot what her name was, but you gotta love the automatic lights, man. That's how they
Yeah,
are in my
man.
classroom too. But I remember
Yeah.
you called me. You said, "Hey, did you just bring me a biscuit?" And I said, "Yeah, man. I was just I was bringing you a biscuit." Like I said, I forgot her name, but you said, "Man, she just said some little white boy came and brought you a biscuit."
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, that's
That
like,
was
man.
that was my college girlfriend Bogan. Shout out to Bogan.
Hey, man.
Shout out to Bogan.
Listen, we're gonna have to tag her in this. And say, hey, that little white boy.
Yeah.
I didn't bring a biscuit this time, but that's pretty funny,
Good old days, man.
man. The good old days. All right, Ant. Well, let's just start it off with this, man. Just kind of tell us your testimony, man. How did you come to know Jesus, and kind of a little bit about that, and then we'll go from there.
All right, sounds good. Well, guys, as Drew stated, I am Anthony Jones, better known as Drew's big brother. Um, I'm originally from Augusta, Georgia, born and raised. I went to high school, Brookwood High School, in Snellville, Georgia. After that, my father was blessed with a lot of promotions. All through my days, my dad has worked for UPS for 39 years.
Is he still
He
working? Or
is
is he retired yet?
still working, man. So he is the head of safety. He is the head of safety for the state of California. He built the safety division for UPS, and
Listen, man. Shout out to Papa Jones, man.
yeah,
He's an
he's done a
awesome dude.
tremendous job, man. Done a tremendous job, and I tell people all the time, everybody's got a lot of heroes. I got a lot of favorites because my dad's my hero. But with that being said, with us, him working for UPS, that's the thing that kind of helped us to move all over the place and helped me to meet all different walks of life, different people. But when we moved to Florida, Florida was where kind of like my huge Christian walk started. I went to high school at Pace High School in Pensacola, Florida. Shout out to my head coach, Coach Mickey Lindsay, who is a man that really helped me to find Jesus for myself. I've been raised in the church, born and raised. My father was a deacon, my mother was a deaconess, and a head usher. So I've been around the church all crawling through pews, singing, fighting, doing all that nastiness when you're a little boy, doing whatever at the church, and growing up in it, man. And I'm so grateful for it, and I'm so grateful for my parents being that guiding light to help me to, even with all that, they allowed me to find God for myself, and I found it in Black Mountain, North Carolina, in the year 2003 through FCA. And that's when I decided to turn my life around, man, and really turn it over to God and allow Him to kind of guide me, or not kind of in it, really guide me. And Wound up getting a college scholarship to go play football at Troy University. My first 2 years of college. My freshman year, I was a freshman All-American. Um, had a great ride my first year. And then we had an offensive coordinator change and totally changed things for me. Um, Basically, had our offensive coordinator as a sophomore tell me that I really didn't fit into their offense as far as where the things were going. I could stay, I could work hard, and I could try to earn it, but he really didn't see me fitting into things. And me being somebody, a man of faith, and believing in the situation, trusting God on it, I decided that I was going to fight and battle and really try to get after and prove to him that I could play. And wound up starting the first 2 to 3 games of the season, and then it just kind of fell apart after that. And I was kind of left standing, standing looking at the man in the mirror, trying to figure out what I was going to do. And wound up leaving Troy, going down to Jacksonville State, and started over again. And what I didn't realize in that move, what God was preparing me for. And I say that because I got to Jacksonville. I had a good career. It wasn't great. I had a good career at Jacksonville. Um, but the best part of it was meeting certain people that I forged a life relationship with. And one of them is sitting here on this call with me today. Um, through the ups and downs, through all these years, we've always stayed in contact with each other. And when you have a true brotherhood, when you have a true friendship, when you have a true God-fearing friendship like we do, you know, one phone call puts you right back where you were, 18 years ago. And I'm so grateful for him and the love that he's shown and supported me with. I'm happy to see the man that he's become, the daddy that he's become, the man of God that he continues to be. But Jacksonville was huge for me because it taught me a lot. It taught me a lot about dealing with adversity, dealing with relationships, uh, dealing with the battle of trying to stay with the crowd and wanting to hang, but also wanting to live for God. And we both seen the sides of that where we're trying to do things and surround ourselves with people and trying to talk to God about people, but at the same time we're trying to hang out at the parties and do all that too. And what you come to realize is that God will find you where you're at if you allow it, and He definitely did that for me. After college, entered into the draft, didn't get drafted. Uh, Had opportunities to go play and work out for some NFL teams. Didn't work out, so I wound up playing arena ball for 5 years. Um, After I got out of arena ball, I'm sitting here trying to figure out what I'm going to do with my life. Started working because my degree was in business management, and I got minored in math. So I started teaching and working, um, substitute teaching and working. It was good, and I started coaching within that. I got my little brother who's now a USC running back. Um, I got him to thank for that because that was the thing that pushed me into coaching. My first high school coaching job was at Union High School in Union, Missouri. It was a great year, really successful year. Shout out to Brent Eckley, also another God-fearing man who poured a lot into me as a coach. Taught me majority of what I know now. Taught me how to be a good coach. Taught me how to be disciplined. Taught me how to organize. Taught me how to prepare. Um, After that, I went down and had a great opportunity to coach for my head coach, Coach Mickey Lindsay. Call him my grandpa. He's always been there for me. He's been the man. Shout out to Coach Lindsay. Um, had a great ride with them for two years. We won a district title, which was unique. I won one as a player, also won one as a coach there. So got a great opportunity to share that experience with guys who have totally blessed me in my life and continue to this day. We still have a text chat, me checking on my guys and checking on them, making sure they're all good. One of my teammates, which was Coach Lindsay's son, Coach Jay, shout out to Jay as well. He's coaching at Walton High School down there in Defuniak. They're rolling. And it's just such a blessing just to see all of my guys just kind of doing their thing. Um, After that, I moved out to California, and I had in 2005 to move to California. Had the opportunity to coach my little brother, or not 2005, 2014, excuse me. Moved to California. Had the opportunity to coach my little brother at Bishop O'Dowd High School. Coached him for 3 years there. We wound up winning the state championship there. So that was just a very surreal experience. to do that with my baby brother. Austin wound up finishing Northern California as Northern California's second leading rusher to the one and only Alabama running back Najee Harris. Austin is behind Najee, I think like 200, 300 yards or something like that. So it's very cool. Austin wound up going to Stanford and doing his thing for the first 2 years, and then he finished up now at SC.
Yes.
But after leaving Bishop O'Dowd, I went down and coached 2 years of junior college ball at Contra Costa, which was a great experience as well. You learn a lot about the JUCO life and the tough roads of that, pouring into young men, and really, really, really honing in on my coaching skills, but also my development piece for pouring into guys and helping to understand humbly that everybody's experience is not the same. And whenever I got the chance to preach the word to them and share it as much as I needed to. After that, I really was battling because I wanted to be a Division I football coach. That's been my dream. That's my passion. I know coaching is where I'm supposed to be. It's my platform that God's given me. I understand that now. I understand that I didn't make it to the league because He meant me to be a coach. That's what I've been blessed to do. Everybody has their experiences, and the funny part about it is I say it all the time now. I understand that God put me through what I went through to be a blessing to people like my little brother, people like my running back room that I coach now. But I left junior college, got a job at San Diego State as a recruiting coordinator. Shout out to my uncle, Coach Hunky Cooper. He is now the director of player development for UNLV University. At the time, he was the assistant head coach and the wide receivers coach at San Diego State. And he helped bring me along with Coach Brady Hoke, and I became recruiting coordinator there. So that was my first big Division I job. After that, I was blessed with the opportunity to go to San Jose State, become the director of player personnel for 1 year. And then God brought me back to where it all began as far as my coaching career back in St. Louis at St. Charles, in St. Charles, Missouri at Lindenwood University, where I'm now the running backs coach and recruiting coordinator in my first Division I coaching position. So it's been a huge blessing. And I thank God every morning that I have this opportunity and this platform just to bless guys and give back, man. And like I said before, it wasn't always peaches and roses and marvelous for me. It's been a tough battle, battling through, looking at other guys getting a whole bunch of jobs and getting opportunities, and you're looking at yourself. You're wondering, why me? Why haven't I gotten the opportunity that all these other guys have gotten? But then you realize John 13:7. You may not know now, but later you'll understand.
Yep.
And me now, I get it. I get it. I get it. I get it. I got this tattoo on my arm, actually. My very first tattoo. And I know Drew probably remembers it was Jeremiah 29:11. I got it in Jacksonville, Alabama.
Yes, you did.
And for I know the thoughts and plans I think towards you, said the Lord. Thoughts and plans to give you peace and not evil, but plans to give you a hope, a future, and an expected end. And I tell you, man, it's been so powerful that every day I get a chance to look at that in the mirror on my arm. Now I got to get back in the gym because it's starting to look kind of lopsided. So I got to get to working on it because it's getting kind
It's
of
that coaching life, man. It's hard to
you
get to the
know.
gym. It is,
but
man.
I get it more than ever now. We were sitting in Bible study last Thursday, and we're going through the Book of Romans right now in our Bible study with our coaches, and the Bible verse was Romans 2:11, and it hit me like a sack of bricks, which is God does not show favoritism, and it stopped me dead in my tracks because I'm like, woof. And everybody else is still talking. Our team chaplain, Pastor Mike Hansen's talking, and he's going through things, and Minister Hansen, excuse me, and he's talking through it and kind of going over it, and then it hit me, and I felt like the Lord was telling me, God doesn't show favoritism, but guess what? He does show favor,
Yeah,
and that's what my whole life, our lives are, is just favor and grace, man.
man. That's
And because without the grace of the Lord, we don't have anything that we have right now.
man. You
And
that dude. That's 100%.
yep,
100% it, man. Because, like, just thinking, like, I mean, Dude, you got my heart pumping right now, man. Just hearing you just talk about God's grace because, man, I remember those years at JSU. I
Yep.
remember the tough decisions for you. Hey, do I take the red shirt? Because you were switching positions, and
Yep.
I remember that was tough going from running back to receiver.
Yep.
And trying to decide because you had those aspirations, you had those dreams that hey, I wanted to make it to the league. Um, and then, like you said, didn't work out that way. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but even before that, I remember, what you said about wanting to live for the Lord, but yet, hey, we were in the other life too.
Yep.
And I remember a lot of conversations between me and you because, when you were playing ball there, I was working with a baseball team, and there was just a lot of that where,
Yep.
hey, we want to be those guys, but man, it was so easy to fall and so
Yep.
easy to mess up. And I remember you being one of those people that were there for me to talk through that with.
Yep.
And I know, that was the same for you. Um, but I think you're right with just, God doesn't show favoritism, but he shows his favor. Um,
Yep.
and he definitely had that plan for you because, back in, what was that, 2008, 2009,
Mm-hmm.
when we were at JSU, you were going to go play in the NFL, man. I was going to be this big time college basketball coach and,
Yep.
the next John Wooden, and life didn't work out that way.
Yep.
But it worked out for our good, man, because,
Mm-hmm.
where you're at now, getting to pour into those guys, with me being in a classroom with seventh graders every day, but getting to be a youth pastor and speak and share the gospel, man, it's just been awesome to see. It wasn't our plans, it wasn't your plans, you know, but it was God's plans, and they were so much better than what me and you could have thought about.
100%. 100%.
Man,
God does it for the, and it's so special, man, because I think about it all, and it's so funny, and I send my inspirational, I send my Bible verses every
yep,
morning, I send my prayers every morning, and it was something, that I was led to do because I realized it's like, one service, it was like, what are you doing to help further God's kingdom?
yep,
Who are you talking to? Who are you spreading the word to? How are you doing it? And I thought about it. I was like, well, I know I'm doing it with my guys. I know I'm doing it with my players that I'm encouraging, but what can I do specifically, outside of that to help? And I said, well, man, people that I come into on a day in, day out basis who are some in touch with the Lord,
yep,
some who are not, how can I impact them?
yep,
And and I thought about it. I read these every single morning. Every morning. I read the prayers, I read the Bible verses, I read inspirational quotes and see videos, but what am I doing with that? Am I just holding it for myself and going, this was awesome, thanks God, and keeping it for myself and being happy with myself? Or am I actually trying to spread that? And and I realized it, and from that day forward, man, I would just sit and I get up, I pray about it, I pray, I put my worship music on, and whether I'm sitting at my desk in the mornings, whether I'm laying in the bed, listening to my praise worship music in the mornings, I'm sending them and I'm just going. I'm
yep,
going. I'm going. I'm going. And in that, if there's something that's been touched upon my heart to deliver to somebody else, whether that be after I see the prayer, it's like maybe I'm led to, say, hey, I've seen that you've been struggling with this, that I just know, I'm here and I'm praying for you and I love you.
yeah,
If there's anything I can pray for you for, let me know. And that's one thing that I would encourage everybody with, man, is just find your niche, find what God has put you here to do, and really, really lean on it to him and ask him. And sometimes, guess what, guys? You're not going to get that answer right away. Sometimes he's got to lead you on down a winding, rough, bumpy, watery road, muddy, whatever it may be. Sometimes it's going to be like that. But guess what? That's all right. Because when you come out on the other end of it, whenever that may be, it might not be tomorrow, it might not be 2 weeks from now. Maybe it is tomorrow. Maybe it's in an hour, you know. But whenever that is, you're going to thank him that much more for it. And that's, the mindset and the approach that we have to take constantly. And it's not easy, guys. It talks about Job all the time, is where, Job was frustrated. He talked to God about it and he was frustrated. He was telling God, why me? I'm really upset with you, Lord. Why is this happening? But what is the one thing they talked about? He petitioned to who? To God. He didn't go down the street and talk to his friends and be mad and upset and angry and tell them, oh, God's terrible, this, that, and the third. He always petitioned to the Lord. And because of that, you see that what? God showed him favor because he never left God.
Yep.
And God never left him.
Hey, man, you know the cool thing about that? We're actually going through Job right now in our church. That's what our pastor's been preaching on Sunday mornings. But, you know, at the end of that, so, you know, Job lost everything, and he had some friends come, and they came for the right reasons, but they just gave him really bad advice. They just kept saying, well, there must be some sin there. You must have screwed up somewhere for you to get all this. And he kept saying, you know, just like you said, like he was frustrated. He was going to ask God, why? Why me? And man, I do that a lot. I mean, I know you probably do too. Like, you know, when stuff doesn't start going right, it's like, God, I'm trying here. Like, why all the negativity? Why all the bad? And you know, at the end of Job, God comes out and he speaks to Job in a whirlwind, and he says, "Hey, look, who are you to even talk to me? Did you create any of this? Where were you when I, you know, held back the waters? You know, where were you when I made all these big animals and sea, you know, sea beasts and things like that? Like, where were you?" And Job didn't get it the first time, but the second time God came and spoke to him, his eyes were open, and he said, you know, I think it's Job 42. He said, God, I'd always heard of you, but now I see you. And I think, man, that's just such a big, you know, a big thing for us. Not to, because you grew up like I grew up in church, you know, but also around the Bible Belt. And then everybody knows about Jesus. Everybody, you know, has heard the gospel for the most part. Not all the time, but for the most part, you know, they kind of know a little bit about this Jesus thing. And then, you know, we hear this and we hear about God, but until we truly see Him and see His grace and see His mercy and see His glory, you know, that's when your life changes, 100%.
Yeah.
So,
and some people, we get to a point, and this is something I've fallen victim to. Sometimes we take God's silence on certain things, and we hold that as Him not being there for us. Just because He's quiet on us sometimes doesn't mean He's not working in our favor. Yeah. And He's not surrounding us in maneuvering and painting and adjusting and making things the way that He wants it to be so that we can make it through. We just have to believe and trust, and that's what faith is, man. Standing on that thing regardless of whether you can see it or not, you know, just kind of letting Him guide you through it. But, you know, all in all, I think that's my biggest thing that I would give to everybody who watches this video, just to stay encouraged, stay prayed up, and know that, you know, in spite of everything that you're doing, in spite of everything that you're going through, God sees you. We see you. And like, I'm praying for you, and I love you all. I don't even know you. I love you. And know that it's gonna be okay, man. But super blessed to be on here. Super blessed to see Drew. Pastor Hall right now.
Pastor, and, man, author, man. I wrote a book too.
Yeah, and pastor and author. Yes.
Listen, that's
yes. He had on some overalls about 2 weeks ago. I was dying. I said, if that ain't about Roll Tide, if I've ever seen it, I don't know what it is.
Listen, right, you know, we did that. They didn't do a fall fest. That, you know, they call it born again. It's kind of like born again, but born again. And so they said, oh well, like what we're doing this year is we're doing a dress like a farmer contest. And I was like, yeah, okay, I don't have to really dress like that. Like, I have real overalls like that'll work.
He does.
Like, I mean, and you know, people from the South, you got a good pair of overalls somewhere.
Oh, 100%. I got some.
Oh, so. Listen, man. And you know, when you're not real country, but you're kind of country, you know, you don't have like the Liberty brand from Walmart. You got the Carhartt brand.
The Carhartt, baby.
Man, that's it.
It's funny too, man, because I see everybody this way because they see me, they see how I dress and everything, and then they'll see me walk out to my Chevy Silverado, and they're like, Coach Jones? And I'm like, yeah, man, drive the truck. I'm from the sticks now, Augusta, Georgia. It's the country.
I'm about to say, they don't understand, man.
Yeah, by as country as it get. Go Dogs, baby.
go Dogs. Well, listen, man, and you have poured so much wisdom on us, and just from your heart, man, and I appreciate that so much. You know, I kind of want to piggyback on what you said. we do see you. We love you for everybody watching this. But I want to encourage you, get around a good group of people. Get your circle, tight with people who fear the Lord and who love the Lord. Because you need those people in your life, because stuff will come up, things happen. You get bad news, the breaks don't go your way. And, you don't need people going, oh, well, just, hey, go to the bar. Or, hey, don't, hey, God's mad at you, or giving you bad, theology. You need those people who are going to point you to say, hey, you need to go get on your knees and pray. And I'm going to pray with you, and I'm going to pray for you, and I'm going to check on you in the morning. Like that's what you need. And man, so I want to thank you for being an example of that. But before we go, for anybody that that's watching this, and maybe you've heard about Jesus, like you're kind of one of those ones like, hey, I grew up in the South, or I've gone to Vacation Bible School before. I've heard a little bit about this, but I'm not real sure. I just want to paint it as simply as I can for you, that God is holy and perfect, and we are not. We screwed it up and continually screw it up. And because of that, the Bible calls that sin, when we do what we want to do over what God wants us to do. And because of that, it's sin. It separates us from God. And so if not only does it separate us, but there's also a price. And the price of that sin is death. And if we die in that sin, then we'll forever be separated from God. And that's not what Anthony was made for. That's not what I was made for. That's not what you were made for. We were made to be with him. And he wants us to be with him, so much so that he sent his son Jesus. And you've heard Ant say that name. You've heard me say that name, just how much Jesus has impacted our life. But he sent his son Jesus to pay the price for us, to pay our debt. And he did that by living a life that we can't, dying the death we deserve, and then beating the enemy that we couldn't beat by rising from the grave. And the Bible tells us plainly that, hey, if you just believe in me, believe in who I am, and confess me as Lord, then you will be saved. And that's what we want to encourage everybody with. There'll be a website on the bottom of the screen. It's the4.fca.org. FCA was a huge part of Ant's college career and high school too. Hey, shout out to Black Mountain. I worked Black Mountain one year. That place is nuts.
It's awesome.
It's awesome. I loved it. But FCA does an amazing job. But this website, if you're interested in wanting to make that commitment and give your life to Jesus, this website walks you through the process. And you gotta love those lights, man.
I know the lights, they're all over the place. Man.
That's good stuff, brother. But if you guys want to do that, you can go there and you can fill out a little connect card. And the guys from FCA, they will get you in contact with somebody around your area, or try to as best they can, because it is about making you, get in that circle, but actually growing in the faith, not just make a decision and move on, but to actually be discipled and grow up and be a man or be a woman of the faith. So they want to help you with that. So if you just fill that out, they'll reach out to you. Or if you don't want to do that, you can reach out to Ant, reach out to me. I'd love to walk you through that process. I know Anthony would too. But that is the most important decision of anybody's life. I always tell everybody, the biggest two questions of your life is this: who is Jesus, and what did you do with him? And that's it. But man, we love you guys. Anthony, I love you so much, brother. Thank
Love you, brother.
I'm still waiting on my swag package. From
Don't you worry about it. I got you. Well, I gotta take a trip down there. I gotta see my nieces and my nephews. I gotta see Mom and Daddy Hall too. So
listen,
I'll be down.
I told them that you were going to be on here, and my mom said, Mom's like, I miss him. So you are, man. When season's over, dude, you need to get a little vacation. You got to come down here to Alabama, and Jacksonville ain't that far from the house, man. We can ride up and go to Struts.
No doubt. Oh, I'll take me some Struts wings right now.
Oh, dude.
Oh, that's marvelous.
That's good stuff. Well, listen, guys, we love y'all. We thank y'all so much for joining with us. Make sure you click that like and share button just to help us share the gospel, because it's not about Anthony. It's not about me. It's about Jesus. So love you guys. Thank y'all. See y'all next time.
God bless you. See you.